Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Prevention and Early Intervention Quarterly Collaborative. Glad to see you all with us. We're just going to have a couple of minutes to give everybody an opportunity to log in today. So if you could do me a favor and make sure that the name that's on your screen matches the name that you registered with today, that way we can track attendance. That would be much appreciated. All right. Good to see everyone. Share time. I'm going to give it one more minute to let everybody have an opportunity to log in. We had a lot of folks register, so perhaps people are gathering their lunch. I know when we used to meet pre-COVID, we would have lunch together. So hopefully you all have something handy that you can enjoy at your desk. And we'll talk in the coming months about whether or not you want to come back together. I think last time we met, we did a poll and the majority of the group wanted to stay virtual. So I want to respect that and make sure that everybody has access across the county. So I know that's been an advantage to us being virtual during COVID. And our conference center does not have good hybrid capability. So it's either going to be all one way or the other. So for now, we'll stick with virtual until we can get that sorted. But it is 12:05, so I want to welcome you all again to the Prevention and Early Intervention Quarterly Collaborative. My name is Diana Gutierrez, and I am the PEI manager, and I'm so glad to have you all with us today. We have a really fun agenda for you today, but before we dive into the agenda, I want to get to know who's with us so far today. So we're going to do a little bit of a poll and learn a little bit about who's in the room with us today. Oops, hold on. So let me launch the poll. Okay, you should see it now. So take a look at the poll that's popped up on your screen, and please take a moment to answer it. We just want to know who's with us today. So the first question is what region you represent. We here at Behavioral Health break up our county into 3 sections, Western, Mid, and Desert. And then some serve all countywide, and also want to know whether or not we have anybody outside the county that's hanging out with us today. And then we want to know who you serve as well, what age population, and then what best describes your work setting. At PEI, we love to see people across all industries. We provide services that educate folks across the board in reducing stigma and raising education about mental health. So always want to have as many people here as possible. And then we have kind of a fun icebreaker as question number 4. So today we're asking, would you rather get a postcard every day from a stranger in a different country or a 10-minute call with anyone in the world that you choose once a year? Kind of get you thinking a little bit about that one. So as folks are joining us, welcome to the Quarterly PEI Collaborative. I believe you should see the poll that's on your screen. So we're just kind of getting the feel of who's in the room with us today. And I'm going to give a little bit more time for people to log in and see this poll and respond. We have about 64% of you that have answered, and I would just love to see as close to 100% as possible. So as you're settling in and maybe having to eat, take a moment to respond to the poll questions in front of you. It's only 4, so not too many. So we can get a sense of who's in the room with us today. 74%, that's awesome. Let's see a little bit more. There's 75. Awesome job, you guys. So we get a really good idea of who's with us today. All right, I'm going to give you, let's go 45 more seconds because we just had somebody enter. A moment to complete the poll. We're going to go just a little bit longer before I close the poll.
Diana, this is Dakota. I was watching some reality show and there had a Zoom meeting and every single Zoom window had a face in it, which was nice. And I see a lot of faces today. So this is nice that everybody's chosen, so many people have chosen to show their awesome faces. Oh, look, there's a couple more coming on.
Thank
I
you,
was,
Dakota.
I was complaining to my friend. I was going, gosh, I wish my Zoom meetings look like that. And here it is.
That's a great observation. Thank you. And thank you everybody for having your cameras on today. And so we are just so glad to see everyone. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to close out the poll so we can get a sense of seeing who we are with today. So let me share the results. And so here you go. Pretty good stretch across the whole county. Some people in each region, and then we have about half of you that are serving countywide. So that's cool. And then across the board, lots of people across the age span. And that's just perfect because we know that PEI services do cover the entire lifespan. So we love having everyone here that can share their experience and learn about what's happening in the world of PEI. And here's who's with us. About 38% from behavioral health. We've got contract providers, PEI contract providers here. Glad to have you guys. Schools in the house, welcome. We love having you here, and some higher ed and our community-based partner organizations. And and we've got some healthcare and some other folks as well. So it's just really good to see you. And then our icebreaker, would you rather get a postcard every day from a stranger in a different country or a 10-minute call with anyone in the world you choose once a year? And 64% of you said they'd want the postcard every day from a stranger in a different country. And about 36% would be interested in a phone call once a year with their most favorite person or the person that they choose. So that's really cool. I don't have any comment other to say that's cool. It's just something to think about. As we think about connections, this is one of the reasons why we asked this question, is just to begin thinking about our connections and how those connections help us in terms of the work that we do and in terms of our own wellness. So I'll leave you with that and briefly go over our agenda for today. So next up, we're going to have our trauma-informed systems moment. Andrea Deaton from PEI will share that with you all and maybe give you a just brief, for anyone that might not be familiar with TIS, a real brief over, maybe one sentence, Andrea, about what it is. And then we're going to spend the majority of our time together today on our program Spotlight, which is the preschool 0 to 5 programs and the mobile mental health clinic. So we have Isabel and Tana from preschool that will share that information with you. And then we've got some report outs. This is May is Mental Health Month, or really the last day of May is Mental Health Month. And boy, are we tired. It's been a busy, busy month, and we had a lot of fun things happen. So we just want to share with you what that was. We had our first directing change back in person since COVID. We've had our first in-person events for May is Mental Health Month throughout the county. And I've got some staff here that are going to share with you a little bit about that. And then we'll hopefully have time at the end. We're going to get some PEI provider updates. So if you're here, PEI providers, think about what you've got coming up, any classes opening soon, recruitment that you're doing, you want others to know about. And then there'll be time at the end for community roundtable. So anyone non-PEI provider that's got some great information they might want to share about upcoming events or anything that you'd like to share about your services, we'll have time for that at the end. So first up is our TIS moment, where we're going to focus on resilience and recovery. So let me stop share, and I'm going to invite Andrea to take over.
All right, thanks, Diana. So as Diana mentioned, each month in trauma-informed systems, we focus on a different principle. And for the month of May, we focus on resilience and recovery, which is nice because in April, we focus on trauma and stress. And so now we're kind of looking at the flip side of that coin. And for those of you that are not familiar with trauma-informed systems, it's something that our department undertook about 4 years ago to really transform the way that we as service providers, in whatever capacity that looks like. It doesn't just mean working directly with consumers or clients. So whatever way we provide service, how we show up and how trauma shows up every day in our work. We all show up with our own stuff, and it impacts the way that we work with other people, both directly as colleagues and coworkers and with the folks that we work with in whatever way we provide service. And so we're really trying to educate our workforce and now our PEI providers on what that looks like and the work that we do. And then hopefully that's now filtering down into the work that all of our PEI folks are doing out in the community. So I have a quick little video for us to watch about resilience in the workplace. It's a cute little cartoon video. And after the video is over, I would love for some of you to come off, unmute yourself and share some of your reactions or something from the video that resonated with you when on the other side of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll catch you all in about 90. Can we see in here? All right, so as mentioned, I'd love to hear from some of you. What resonated? What stuck out to you? What hit home around resilience?
This is Dakota. I'll be first.
Thanks, Dakota.
I hadn't considered that my own resilience is a model for others, right? It gives other people permission to explore their own resilience. But I liked in the very beginning, it seems like there's so much worry about triggering people that sometimes we step back and we're fearful. And I think that it being said that, yes, it is important that we be sensitive to people's triggers, but also encouraging people to allow some discomfort, right? To allow them to experience some of their own managing their inner reality. So, and it's a balance. I mean, we don't want to go around hurting people, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Dakota. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was one of the things that really resonated with me the first time I saw this, was at the end after the flower gets stomped on and kind of sprouts back up, those seeds start to come out after that, so that your own growth can be a model for other folks. We start to share the lessons we learned after we've gone through those hard things. Yeah, thanks for that. Other folks, don't be shy, y'all. Take a break from eating that lunch.
I think it's important to be, in order to, for at least, you know, for a person to be resilient at work or even in her or his personal life. I felt like you also need, it's important to have self-care. It said sleep, water, food, air. But I think I'd like to add maybe, you know, specific self-care in that little part of the video where it said, you know, your basic necessity in life, right? Air, food, water, and sleep. But I think it's also important to, you know, do something fun for yourself, so that way you're recharged, decompressed, and ready to, a little bit more, you know, ready to face the day. And I think that adds to, you know, the foundation or the, you know, strength of being resilient.
Yeah. Thanks, Glenda. And that's important, as Diana was talking about that kind of fun question we had at the end of our poll there about connection. that is really one of those foundational things that we need in our workspace is connection with other people. So thinking about challenging, how can you build that fun, that self-care into your workspace? How can you put that into your workday and actively make it something that you're seeking out? Those connections, that fun, those moments to decompress are really critical to our survival in the work that we do. We do hard, important, fulfilling work, and we need to make sure that we're doing those things, Glenda, like you mentioned, to take care of ourselves. Thank you. Maria, I see your hand up.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I want to second Glenda on her comment, because I think I'm a workaholic and I sometimes have a hard time trying to balance.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw all those areas that we need to actually take a look at, you know, and see we can balance all those areas. It is sometimes like very, very hard for me, but it is important, you know, that's something that we really want to, you know, consider and try to see if we can have a balance in all those areas.
Yes, and I saw your question in the chat. I will gladly share the link to that video in the chat so everyone can take it for sure.
Thank you.
And then Christine made a comment in the chat, make every day meaningful, take care of myself, learn from experiences, and be proactive. Thank you, Christine, for your input there in the chat. Anyone else want to share something that stuck out to them in that video? And then I'll turn our time back over to make sure our good friends at Preschool 0 to 5 have time to share about their wonderful program. Okay, I want to give a shout out while I have time to Preschool 0 to 5. And they've been really wonderful partners in TIS and making sure that they kind of live and breathe the trauma-informed systems principles in their unit in our department. And they are a really huge proponent for our TIS newsletter that our department staff and then thereby our PEI partners get to benefit from with our TIS newsletter. So thank you, Tana and Isabel, for all of your continued support of trauma-informed systems in Preschool 0 to 5 and for all of supporting Daisy, and just huge shout out to Preschool 0 to 5 for all the support of TIS. And thanks, Diana, for letting us talk a little bit about resilience.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Andrea. And what a great transition as we head over to, I want to introduce Isabel Santilli and Tana Montesino, that are the supervisors for our Preschool 0 to 5 program. This is a PEI funded program that includes a ton of stuff. So Isabel, please tell us all about it.
Oh, hello, everybody. And I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for seeing our efforts in supporting self-care, especially in the workforce, as the video was going over the importance of self-care and doing things like taking a walk, drinking more water, getting some sunlight during the day, all those little things that count. Fortunately, I'm on myself today. I'm Tana Montesino, who's in charge of the Set for School, because we kind of manage different grants within our program and we have different objectives and different things that we do for the little ones that we work with. She's out sick today, so it's just going to be me presenting. I'm Isabel and I am the behavioral health supervisor here at Preschool, and I'm in charge of our PEI services that we provide out of the preschool program. And I have a little presentation for you guys today to talk a little bit about what we do here at Preschool and our services that we provide here. So we are connected with Riverside University Health Systems. We are a program that services mostly children from 0 to 7. So the way our services work here at Preschool is we have our typical intensive types of forms of treatments that we provide that other outlining clinics in Riverside County provide, but we also have our PEI services that we provide. So our PEI starts with services even before we have identified a child needing any level of care. So our first step is that we always begin with a screening or a referral process, getting the word out there of the services that we provide. We have different MOUs with different school districts where we go in and we do light touch services. And at that point, if they identified a certain kiddos that are struggling, requiring next step of services, then we continue with other types of early intervention services, such as tip sheets, parenting groups, pro-social groups, teacher presentation, teacher classroom consultations, and then of course we moved into our good stuff, which is all of the evidence-based models that we do here. At the bottom there, you will notice that that's our old mobile clinic that we used to have. You would see it driving around or parked in front of certain school districts, and now we are in the works of transitioning into 3 Sprinter vans. That makes it just easier being able to station ourselves in a better location. Before, it was hard to find space where we were able to park our big vehicle at and our big RV and provide services. This will just make it easier for us to basically roll out pretty much anywhere and continue providing services throughout Riverside County. As of right now, even if we don't have our Sprinter vans, and we're hoping that sometime in late September or early October, we will have our Sprinter vans ready. Right now, what we try to do is we continue providing services during our different sites that we have. We have about 18 sites through Riverside County, and they're usually located at a school site or at an outlining clinic. And so I think the farthest place that we were going with our mobile van, and we will continue doing that once we get our Sprinter vans, is Mecca and Thermal. So it would take our staff about 2 hours to get there and then 2 hours back. And then we make modifications on their workday to be able to service the community and see as many kiddos as we can as we transition out there. So what I really want to present on is one of our big evidence-based models that we do here, one of our therapies, and it's called PCIT, which is basically parent-child interactive therapy. We've been actually, one of our national master trainers in PCIT just reminded us during our last staff meeting that now we're in 20 years out of the preschool program providing PCIT. But again, it's been something that has been researched for over 30 years, talking about different ways of managing typical disruptive behaviors, tantrums, kids starting developing, having big emotions, difficulties with self-regulation. So this is where PCIT comes in. The theory behind it is combining a lot of more of the traditional types of therapy like play therapy, attachment theory, family systems, CBT, kind of all meshed together. And of course, it is mostly designed for kids from 2 to 6. We also have our toddler version of PCIT, which is for 12 to 24 months of age. So here you kind of see a little picture. That's our little therapeutic bear that we use. We call Mr. Bear, but you kind of see an image of what usually the setup looked like. So it's always a two-way mirror. The therapist, which is Mr. Bear right now, sitting there with the headset, is usually the play therapist, coaching the parent as you see the puppets on the other side of the mirror. As they're interacting and engaging with their child, the therapist guides the parent on implementing these good skills to help support and nurture the relationship between the parent or the caregiver and the child, and also giving them some good behavioral modification skills and modeling to guide and improve some of the behaviors that sometimes kids do experience. So everything is usually done in a two-way mirror process. The average length is usually 14 to 16 weeks. To get through PCIT. Sometimes our families do stick with us a little bit longer just because sometimes there's stressors, barriers. Sometimes the intensity of the behavior might require a few more sessions. So it varies depending on family per family. But that's usually what our outlining clinic school sites look like. And even inside of our sprinter vans, as we had with our mobile vans, that will be the setup that we use when we're doing parent-child interactive therapy. So PCIT basically has two phases of treatment. There's the child-led or the child-directed interaction, and then there's the PDI, or what we call the parent-directed interaction. The first phase of treatment, which is CDI, basically focuses on helping facilitate and strengthen the relationship between the parent and child, at the same time being very kind of like what you think about like reverse psychology, still implementing limit setting, helping the child regulate emotions, start developing the concepts of following rules, being a good listener, making good choices, supporting problem solving, but in a very warm, supportive, affectionate way, is what we usually try to focus on. And PCIT is a big believer that most of the time when a parent is having challenges with their child, you go to a provider, you go something, oh, let's use a sticker chart, or let's talk about timeout, or let's talk about removing some tablet time. Sometimes that works, that could be effective, but PCIT is a big believer of the child has to kind of have that trust, that bond, that I want to show you that I could be good, right? Needs to be there, that solid foundation before we could transition into the more typical type of behavioral modification strategies. As we do in the second phase, then we do target more on working on increasing and refining the ability for the child to listen, to be cooperative, compliant with rules, and working on some more of those behavioral challenges. PCIT graduation usually occurs when the parent has met a certain level of competency in all of the skills that we teach in PCIT, and because it is an evidence-based model, also seeing good outcomes in the pre and post-treatment measures that we use to reflect that progress. So this is what our typical skill set that we teach our parents in the first phase of treatment. These are the skills that we coach, do the in vivo over the mirror, that we're teaching and guiding the parent on implementing with their child. First is a short abbreviation for PRIDE, or what we call our PRIDE skills. And it's stands for praise, reflect, imitate, describe, and enjoy. This is just a typical handout what we use, but of course, based on what the challenges are, why the family's coming in, what's the reasoning behind why the child's struggling with their behavior, their emotions, or externalizing or internal behaviors. It's more of a overview, but of course the coaching is where the refining comes in and tailoring it to that child's needs, or whatever those concerning behaviors are. But of course, big believer on focusing on the positive behavior, right? And if you see the other handout, focusing on ignoring, or what we call selective attention of behaviors that we're trying to kind of get away or reduce. We always tell our parents selective attention doesn't mean that, well, I don't like this behavior, let me just walk away and go to the next room. No, you are still present, you're still around with your child, but it's how are you avoiding and not engaging with the child, which comes into play to helping give that space that the child needs to self-regulate, while the parent might model or talk to themselves and model good, appropriate coping skills that the child could use at that time. So that's what our first phase skills look like. The second phase of PCIT, the parent-directed interaction, is what we really focusing on helping the parents know that helping your child be a better listener, a good, better citizen, being able to follow rules, and just be overall more cooperative. There's always strength in behind on how do you guide your child. So what we call being direct in how you request or give a command to your child, taking into consideration things that sometimes parents might not know. And that's why they come to us to figure out, right? Always remembering that when we're working with little ones, it takes usually usually about 3 minutes for the brain to kind of process in the age of 0 to 7 to get to understand what is being requested of them. So we're always helping the parents space out your commands, give some time for your child to process what you have just stated before you're adding on to another command. Always modeling, speaking nicely, calmly, and respectfully, so your child's able to communicate the same way. Taking things to consideration, like where is in your child's development? Also considering and what kind of request or what kind of command you will give. And then of course, the other handout just gives a quick overview of what we use, especially where it comes to more of the challenging and aggressive, disruptive behaviors is what we teach our effective timeout. So that's what are the typical skills that we go over and teach in the parent-led portion. So here I'm going to play a quick video of a session, a mock session of what would typically see as the therapist behind the mirror in an early on session before even services get started. Let's see if I could play it. Oh, it's not. Okay, so let me play the video. Let's sit there.
A star. A star? How come? What? What are you making a star for? Where do you see stars? Ooh. Where do you see stars, Chesney? Up in the air. Up in the air? At what time of the day? Nighttime. At nighttime? Yeah, when you go to bed? What is this? That's, what? No, that goes in here. Here, let me show you how you do it. Here, I'll show you. Here, give it to me. Here, let me show you. The Band-Aid? No, it's not a Band-Aid, silly. It goes like this, see? See, watch. It goes here like this. Stick it in, okay? Here, give me some of those. I'll show you. Play-Doh? I'm gonna take Play-Doh, and we're gonna put it in here.
So that's kind of a typical way of our session. Why? What do you kind of expect from a typical family that you see, the type of interaction between the parent and the child? But of course, it seems like a pretty good child, seems like a pretty good parent, seems like there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of engaging going on. But let's see if we are able to notice.
A star?
Oops.
How come?
Sorry, I was going to say, we'll see if you guys are able to notice a slight difference in the second part of this after a couple of coaching sessions. See if it's going to help me move on. Okay, there it is.
Good job getting it all the way out. You did it. Well, we can do it again. Now you're doing it again. Opening it up. Taking the yellow Play-Doh and pushing it. Oh, you got it in there perfectly. More spaghetti. More spaghetti. Am I making spaghetti? You are making spaghetti. To eat? To eat. That's a great idea. Make spaghetti to eat. Let's do some more. Want to do some more. Getting the Play-Doh all ready. Lifting up the lever.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed a difference, right? Or it's just that trained eye that all our PCIT therapists see in PCIT, but you already kind of see a difference in between the way the child was interacting even with the toys, the first video versus the second video. The child was just kind of sitting around, keeping her hands to herself, kind of just picking things up here and there, not really engaging, not really using her imagination. And more or less the caregiver was kind of suggesting things, taking things from her, holding, helping her, doing things for her practically, versus now you kind of see the caregiver kind of sitting back, just kind of describing what she's doing, reflecting the child, praising the child, and you see a lot more verbal output from this child. She's actually talking, she's actually sharing what she wants to do and why she's going to do it, versus before she was just kind of answering questions and just kind of sitting there and just staring at the toys. So again, just after a couple of sessions of using those PCIT skills, you see a difference in the relationship between the parent and child. And again, in PCIT, we believe that's really important, especially if we're going to work on more of those challenging behaviors for sure. So the typical outcomes that we usually see in PCIT, as you kind of saw in those little clips there, we're always building on increasing the sense of security, safety, attachment, the child's attention span, self-esteem, working on those pro-social skills. Of course, trying to reduce some of those tantrums and aggressions, trying to eliminate those type of behaviors, helping the child manage and learn some self-control in regards to that impulsivity or hyperactivity behavior, and also overall kind of helping the parent be less frustrated and feel more confident and more effective in the way they target certain behaviors, and even just the relationship they have with the child, right, goes a long way. And just making every time that they spend with their child more fun and more engaging and more positive, instead of just putting out fires as things go on. So next, what I want to share is an actual example of a success story of a parent that we had that went through PCIT and also got some support from our parent partner and doing some sharing of resources. And this mom is out in the desert area, in the Beaumont area, and this is what she has to say of what she learned from PCIT.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn, and today I would like to share with you the experience that my daughter and I had while attending PCIT, which stands for Parent-Child Interaction Therapy. The reason why my daughter and I started attending these sessions was because my daughter was having a hard time with self-soothing. She would have really big emotions due to the fact that she couldn't properly communicate with us and she was speech delayed. And it was becoming very concerning because she would hit others, hurt herself, or throw things. So when we first started attending these sessions, I was taught very helpful skills, which were the pride skills. These skills are very positive, and while being taught them, because everything was so new to me, you are being coached on how to use these skills. So the therapist will go into a different room and you stay in that room with your child and you're playing with them while using these skills. And the therapist will be coaching you up until you've mastered these skills. And it's just so interesting to see how playing with your child and using these skills can really make such a big difference. Because at the end of our sessions, I saw how much of a difference it made, not just for my daughter, but for myself as well as a parent. I saw how she became more confident, how she was able to communicate better with these skills, and how her social abilities were increasing as well, because with her being an only child, she really didn't know how to share with others. And through using these skills, she was able to learn more about sharing, and which helped her out because at her school, it helped reduce those negative behaviors or those big emotions that she would have when it came to sharing with others, because we were working on that throughout our sessions, our PCIT sessions. I was able to see how it also benefited me as a parent, because I felt more confident in my parenting skills, and I also I wasn't getting as frustrated anymore, because I had the skills, I had the pride skills to help me guide my daughter through her big emotions. I saw how much our mother-daughter relationship benefited from these sessions because we had, well, we still do have a better communication. Our bond is a lot stronger now. And I definitely did see a lot on how my daughter and I benefited from this. And these pride skills I use on a daily basis, not just with my daughter, but with others as well. And I see how she uses them as well with others. And it's just from things that she picks up on, because kids will pick up on the skills that you're using and they will start to use them as well with others. And those are a few of the reason, or a few of the benefits that my daughter and I got out of these sessions. And I would definitely recommend this for anyone who's struggling with their child's behaviors.
All right. So just like the parent kind of shared a little bit of what she got from PCIT and her services. And, it's funny what she says is that, we use modeling, right? We model what we want our child to do, reciprocate back to us. But we also see that the child starts doing with their siblings or other kids, or even with us, like they'll say, "Oh, Miss Isabel, I really like how you're sitting in the chair using your nice calm hands," because they hear as soon as they walk into the door, calm hands, calm feet, ooh, nice walking feet. And then they just start using the same type of language and choices of words. Or hearing kids say, "Oh, I love your manners." Like, oh, they already know what manners mean. It's so awesome to see. So I love to see videos of parents talking about that, or even in person seeing how big of a change you make in that short period of time with services that we provide. Some of the outcomes that we do here at Preschool 0 to 5, currently we have 136 families open for PCIT services throughout Riverside County. We have about 35 provider and parent consultations that we do. Those consultations are for any family that is seeking out services, or they're not sure if their kid needs services, or if it could be a teacher saying, I have this child, this is what's going on with it, I'm not too sure what direction to go. We provide kind of an outreach. We might go observe the child. We might take some time to talk to the teacher or the parent over the phone and kind of assess, does this kid need a different level of care? If not, what we do is we could provide some phone calls for support, some resources that we mail out to them, some tip sheets, different things that might support the family or the child or the caregiver or the teacher in situations before the child moves on to needing some more intensive services. Here are just some data of some average numbers that we typically see. So the desert and western region, as Diana shared about Riverside County, cut up into 3 regions. That's where the majority of our services are seen. And especially out in the desert, there is very few resources of any kind for even adults, kids, or teenagers. So we're always keeping our numbers really high out in the desert. These are some of the demographics of the different cultures that we see within PCIT. And again, depending on where in the region we are, is if you see an uptake in like the Hispanic or African American or Caucasian cultures. So you see that. One of the other things that I want to share, and then after this, I'll kind of show you guys a little of our website. So something else that we promote is our Growing Healthy Minds website, which I'll kind of show you right now. These are just some of the different demographics in regards to that. So our Growing Healthy Minds website is a way of providing outreach for families that might not know about us, or providers or schools. Anytime you go and you search for services from 0 to 5, or early intervention services, or social emotional developmental concerns, our website might pop up for Growing Healthy Minds that provides different educational and resources that we're providing, especially for that population. So as you see, on the average, we get a lot of new users, about 775 users that we get. The session time, the average time that a family or anybody that's logging in and looking at the website is spent for the Growing Healthy Minds. And I will actually show that right now. Let me just close this out and show you our actual website here, so you guys can kind of see it. So this is what our Growing Healthy Minds website looks like. Again, it kind of gives you an overview of our partnerships, all the other services that we use, what we're targeting. It talks again further how our referral early intervention services kind of begin. Most importantly, it gives updates for community providers, and this is free. Anybody could go in. When we talk about maybe the child doesn't need any services, maybe the parent's a new parent and they're not really sure of what's developmentally appropriate, or hey, is this a behavior or something that I should be concerned about? Well, our website has free tip sheets that provide educational milestones, information about certain things that should be flagged if you're concerned about your child's development, things that you can kind of do as a preventative. So it's a really good, helpful website to have in mind if you're thinking of different resources for our parents there. We also do a lot of, for our community provider trainings here. So anytime that we're hosting an educational training that is for free, we also put that on. So our last thing was about working with the 0 to 5 population, especially when it comes to diagnosing or how to detect if a child requires a different level of care. We also have other resources that we partnership in our community as well. So our website is really cool here. What I'm trying to get to, and I just don't see it, is we also have videos. Let me see here. I think we have our video library, and this is also a good resource. It talks about the different services, but it also gives little snippets. Thank you to, what we see with the now technology and TikTok about different videos and learning about different things about how does melatonin affect kids at this age, cerebral palsy, working with toddlers, information about ADHD, talking about self-care and mindfulness. So it gives little videos of what to do and how to do it of our current staff or our psychiatrists that we have on staff that provide different helpful videos on there. So that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for your partial attention. and if anybody has any questions about PCIT or preschool, I see one hand raised. Yes. I don't know if I could unmute them.
This is Dakota. I was actually clapping, but I was curious about the discrepancy between Mid-County and your numbers were so small there. Did I miss that?
And thank you for asking for that. So as anybody, I don't know if any other providers are experiencing, we are experiencing a staffing shortage issue, right? It is really hard right now. For example, we have 6 openings for clinicians that we haven't been able to staff for a couple of months now. And unfortunately, like we say, we cover from all the way from Harupa to Corona to all the way to Mecca, Banning, Blythe. So sometimes we can't cover all those areas. And right now that is where our staffing issue is in that region. So yeah, unfortunately, we're not being able to provide much services. But the good thing is right now we're transitioning. Instead of having certain staff assigned to certain areas, right now we're just training all our staff to cover every area and every outcome and grants that we're trying to meet. And once we have our new Sprinter vans, we're hoping to increase that mid-count area for sure. Any other questions or?
Yeah, you're definitely not alone in the staffing issue. Isabel.
Yes,
Sure.
yeah, it's just, and everybody's working from home. I get it. You know, if you could just plug in at home, then it just makes sense. So,
We have
oh,
a question
yes.
in the chat.
So in Harupa, we actually have one site that just opened up. So we have one it's in West Riverside Elementary School. It's off of Riverview and Mission Boulevard. So we're actually at an actual school site at West Riverside Elementary. So we do have a PCIT site there. And then we just opened one up, and I think it's the borderline of Harupa and Norco. It's at Sky Country Elementary School. There is another site that we see families out in that Harupa area.
So Isabel, do you have to be a student on that campus to get access, or can others that are
No,
not-
we our no cost contracts that we have with our school sites understand that we service kids from that school, but we also service the community. So yes, I think Diana sent out the PowerPoint on there. There's the number. If you have a family or you want to refer somebody, please feel free. There's the number and the actual email as well. The best way is just having the family call in so they get more information. They get an estimation of our wait list. And then they also help them pinpoint what is the nearest location to them based on their home address to get them services.
Okay, and I don't believe you sent it yet, but you will get a copy of the PowerPoint.
Yes.
After the meeting. Miriam will send that out.
Yeah, but thank
That's
you
what they
guys.
call the clinic. They call the main clinic, and the clinic will then help them figure out where to go.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Any other questions for Isabel?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Hi, Isabel. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Mhm.
You mentioned wait lists. I'm just curious how long they are. How long does it take for kids on average to get a place?
It just depends, like you saw with our, data, mid-county is an area that it is taking a while to be seen. I would say maybe no more than maybe close to a month sometimes in that area for our wait list that we have in mid-county, just because of staffing issues. And there's also, we have only a few bilingual therapists is also something that we have to consider, right? So yeah, it just depends on what area they're in the county. Yeah.
And there's another question in the chat. Is the mobile unit able to attend any health fairs or outreach?
Yes. So when we did have our big mobile, that's exactly what they would do. They would go to different fairs, or if they would, like if one of our schools had an open night, a school night, we would roll up and people would get to walk in and see, and we would have helpful tip sheets and handouts and stuff like that. That's something that we will continue doing. And that's part of our prevention intervention, right? Is getting the word out there and trying to provide resources before the family actually gets to the point where they need something more intense. But yeah, for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Well, Isabel, I hope you're going to hang out with us. So if a
Yes.
question does pop up, throw it in the chat, and Isabel will be here to check it out if something comes to mind. Thank you so much, Isabel. It was a fabulous presentation. I love PCIT. I was trained in that back in the day when I was delivering service. So PCIT is always close to my heart. Really glad to have you guys here.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move right on and learn a little bit more about what we've been doing for May is Mental Health Month. So I'd like to introduce Maisha Bobo, a Staff Development Officer with my team, who's going to talk to you about directing change.
Thank you so much, Diana. Yes, I am excited to share with you all about what we've been up to in May. So I will share my screen so that you are able to learn a little bit more about directing change. Give me just a second. All right, can I get a thumbs up if you're able to see my screen? Thank you so much. All righty. So many of you are already aware of Directing Change. It has been around for several years now. So the Directing Change program and film contest is part of California's mental health movement, Take Action for Mental Health, and several statewide efforts to prevent suicide, reduce stigma related to mental illness, as well as to promote the mental health of students, which we know is really important right now. And these efforts are funded by counties through the Mental Health Services Act, formerly known as Prop 63. And when students participate in the Directing Change Film Contest, they are given knowledge about mental health and suicide prevention. Then they're asked to apply this knowledge with their experiences in their own perspective to create a 60-second PSA on various topics surrounding mental health and suicide prevention. So students receive support from school advisors as well as Directing Change staff throughout the filmmaking and submission process. So next we'll talk about some of the entry categories. So the contest allows students to submit films within these following categories. So the first one here is suicide prevention. And the goal for these films is to share information about suicide prevention, resources, and the warning signs for suicide in a way that is hopeful and it encourages people to ask for help. The next category here is mental health matters. So films in this category help to end the silence about mental illness by openly talking about mental health using a positive and educational storyline that emphasizes the importance of seeking help when you need it, as well as supporting a friend to get help. Next is the Through the Lens of Culture category. And so this category explores the topics of suicide prevention and mental health with a focus on how culture can influence how and if we talk about these topics, whether we seek help, as well as what kind of help we want to seek and from whom. Then we have animated shorts. So filmmakers in this category share information about the warning signs for suicide and how to support a friend through the magic of animation. And then we have Walk in Our Shoes, which is a category that is exclusive to our middle school students only. And these films show what it's like to walk in the shoes of someone experiencing a mental health challenge. So the films intend to stir up compassion for others and show actions that can be taken to help. Within this category, there are three sort of subcategories. The first is the superhero in each of us, which focuses on strengths, purpose, and what happens when we lose them. The second subcategory here is what is mental health, which teaches the truth about what mental health is and how someone can build better mental health. And then lastly, for this category, we have Words Matter. And this encourages people to use kind, non-stigmatizing, and accurate words to talk about mental health. And then to round us out here, we have the Hope and Justice category. So students submit film and artwork that instills hope to help others get through rough times, or it tells a story that provides knowledge and encourages young people to take a stand against injustice. There are also monthly prompts that are provided on various topics related to hope and justice. And so these are our entry categories. So now we're going to talk about the submissions that we received for this academic school year. So at the statewide level, there were 1,117 films submitted from 178 schools and community-based organizations. And there was a total of 3,173 youth that participated statewide. So now zooming in a little bit and looking at our county, we had 212 films submitted from 24 schools and community-based organizations from a total of 586 youth. Pretty good for our first year back from the pandemic. So this year, the 11th annual awards ceremony was held in Los Angeles at the historic theater at Ace Hotel on May 16th. This was the organization's first in-person ceremony following the pandemic. The event was attended by nearly 1,000 middle school and high school students, as well as parents, contest judges, mental health providers, and entertainment professionals. This year also marked the return of our local screening and recognition ceremony here in Riverside County. Our local ceremony was held in Riverside at the Fox Theater, which is pictured here, on May 4th. Our local ceremony was hosted by Riverside University Health System's Behavioral and Public Health departments, along with our partners over at RCOE, Riverside County Office of Education. We had around 350 students, advisors, families, and other community members in attendance. It was truly, truly a night to remember. So today, I have the pleasure of sharing the first place winning films from our local judging process. I would also like to note that Riverside County received many honorable mentions and awards at the regional and statewide level as well. So now let's get into the films. So first, we have our first place winner in the suicide prevention category from Great Oak High School that is titled Seeds of Change.
Everybody goes through their day differently. Some people struggle to complete everyday activities. Getting out of bed can take all their strength, while others can get through the day with ease. Don't judge others by the things they cannot do. Reach out and offer your support when you see someone struggling. If you notice the signs in someone around you, don't be afraid to offer your support. Reaching out can save a life. Pass on the flowers of hope.
Alrighty, so next we have Through the Lens of Culture, and our first place prize went to the film Opening Up by students at JFK Middle College High School.
As a person with autism, I often feel like I'm alone in how I handle my day-to-day life. I feel misunderstood by my peers, my friends, and even my family. And when I'm not feeling left out by my peers, I get inside my own head. And I feel like I don't belong. It can be so overwhelming that I wish there was a way out.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
It's important to know that you're not alone. If you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, it's important to seek help.
So next we have our Mental Health Matters category, and our first place winner was the film I Hate from students at Eleanor Roosevelt High School. It's also important to note here that this film took home the first place trophy for the Mental Health Matters category at the statewide level. So they were the #1 Mental Health Matters film in the entire state of California.
I hate myself. I hate family dinners. I hate socializing. I hate school. I hate the way my clothes fit me. I hate family dinners. I hate socializing. I hate school. I hate the way my clothes fit me. I hate family dinners. I hate socializing. I hate the way my clothes fit me. Stop. I hate that I didn't get help sooner. Because now I'm warming up. My friends have my back, and trusted adults are helping me work on my mental health. So day by day, I feel a little bit better. If you or a loved one is struggling with mental illness, don't hesitate to ask for help. Text TEEN to 839-863. There is hope.
All right, next we have the Hope and Justice category. And first place for this category went to students from Heritage High School for the film Forgotten Sorrows. So I would like to provide an activation warning as this film does reference sexual abuse. So please feel free to step away and take care of yourself as needed. And I will go ahead and press play and let's take a look.
The memory of that one night was the only thing I wished for so long to forget. Erase the fear, the betrayal, the hurt. But then eventually, I tapped back into reality and turned my pain and sorrow into something beautiful and creative in a time where I felt as if everything had just seemed to stop. My lungs, my heart, and eventually my brain. I was trapped in my past for so long, but painting became my voice, my peace, my safe place. Our traumas leave a permanent stain on our mental health, but through different forms of expression, we can truly take back our identity.
All righty, and then we have our Walk in Our Shoes category. So remember, this is from our middle school students only. And first place in Riverside County went to the film Clarity by students at David A. Brown Middle School.
While others seem to see things clearly, the things I silently struggle with blurs my vision. I can't see straight. So many things seem unclear when you struggle. It feels like everyone is talking about me, and it's my fault. People pass me by like they don't even see me, which makes me feel alone and isolated. Simple tasks become difficult. Even talking to adults blurs my vision. I know I'm here to learn, but anxiety stops my ability to clearly see and understand. But there's an answer. You have resources available when you need guidance, and there's always people to help. There's always a reason to hope, and when you can see hope, you can begin to see life with clarity. If you're not seeing things with clarity, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help.
So as I mentioned earlier, the Hope and Justice category also consists of monthly prompts for students to create art, music, written works, and films around different topics related to mental health awareness and suicide prevention. So these monthly prompts allow students to creatively express stories of hope, encouragement, and resilience, while also making space for students to share their perspective or personal experience with discrimination and injustice, to combat bias and to take a stand against injustice. So as you can see from this slide, Riverside County had monthly winners almost every month during the last academic year. So during this year's Riverside County screening and recognition ceremony, we actually compiled a highlight reel of the amazing films and artwork that placed in the monthly Hope and Justice contest this academic year. Please enjoy.
We live in a world today that needs support for youth mental health. That has both leader in me as well as leader in all of us.
We believe our goal is to help, encourage, and support our student population, to help them recognize their mental health needs, and to leave a legacy of inspiration to thrive every day. Our word is leadership!
Supporting our student body means that we can help others navigate life when it becomes complicated and overwhelming.
We can encourage them to live in the moment and develop a sense of mindfulness.
Educating staff, parents, and students on recognizing the signs of mental health problems and pointing them to qualified professionals when they need help will be a priority for all of us. Our common goal is to help lead our school so that everyone feels heard, safe, and a part of a community that cares for them.
Leadership! Leaders are made, not born.
If you would like to be a part of helping our world support youth mental health, set goals to be a part of leadership within your community.
Like we have.
As you give, you feel appreciated, accomplished, and create a supportive community that leaves a legacy within the lives of youth within your community.
That's our word that shares our vision. What will yours be?
Mental health. Everyone struggles with it, whether it's depression, anxiety, PTSD, or anything else. Hi, I'm Christian Bolaños, and for a while I struggled with depression. I thought no one liked me. I felt like no one even cared if I was there, as if I was just a brick wall, listening to everyone talk, but no one would have wanted to talk to me. Luckily, I had my mom to help me with my problems. Whenever I talked to my mom, I felt like it was a safe space. I could tell her anything I wanted and she would listen without any questions asked. She helped me with all my problems and made me feel so much better. She had me eating healthy, she made me a sleeping schedule, and sometimes would just tell me to go outside and just breathe. I'm very thankful for all my mom has done for me. Before my mom helped me with all this, I was just sitting in my room in the dark on my phone. The only time I would come out was if I had to go to the restroom or to get my dinner, and I'd go right back to my room. Thanks to my mom, I am no longer struggling with depression.
I'm an Asian Pacific Islander.
I'm Indian.
I'm Native American.
I am Salvadoreña.
I'm African American.
I'm Mexican and Native American.
I'm Hispanic. I'm Filipino and Nigerian.
I'm Filipino.
I'm Egyptian.
I'm Cambodian.
I'm Caucasian.
I'm Filipino.
And I'm Hispanic, and we're all proud to be different.
To view all of the Riverside County Directing Change. Sorry, didn't clip that last part, but this was film or recorded for our ceremony in person. So if you're interested in sharing these films and many other amazing entries, they can be found at directingchangeca.org/Riverside County. We do have our own landing page where you can see all of the films and artwork that was submitted by Riverside County students. We have films from the first Directing Change contest through this year, and they're all easily found listed on the website. These can be used in a clinical setting to start discussions with youth, and can also be used to increase education and awareness of mental health, as well as reducing stigma related to mental health and suicide. And then, of course, we encourage youth to participate age 12 to 25 during our 2023-2024 academic year. Thank you all for your time and attention.
Fabulous, Maisha, thank you. What amazing students, right? Right here in our own county doing just such amazing work. I mean, think about over 500 youth that not only have created these amazing films, but them and their peers have now been exposed to mental health education, to suicide prevention, and the ripple effect that that can have on their campuses and in their communities and in their families. So it's truly amazing. Directing Change is far bigger than a filmmaking contest. It really does have the power to impact the way kids understand mental health, and acknowledging and recognizing resources that are available to help them and their friends. So we want to encourage participation, that we would grow from 212, I want to say, is probably the most number of films we've had as a county submitted to the statewide film contest, and we want to see that increase. So we would love to see more students participate. Primarily, they were outreaching to schools. So of course, AV teachers and their psychology teachers are encouraging their students, but the film also recognizes that students go elsewhere to get support. So community-based organizations can also act as advisors and help students to create and submit films. So we would encourage all of you, for the young people that you work with, to tell them about this and maybe even try to engage them in the work and develop films. One of our providers, Operation Safe House, through the peer-to-peer program, offers Directing Change workshops, where if anyone, young people want to do this, but they're not quite sure where to begin, they want to know more about the contest and all of the rules associated, and but how do they tell their story? What is their story? How can they put it together? How do you make a film? That's exactly the kind of workshop that Operation Safe House does for us. So if you have a group of young people that want to learn more about that, connect with Safe House, and they can organize a workshop with you and your young people to teach them how to do this work. So I hope that you'll all consider that. If you want to know how to get in touch with them, go to our website, PEI. Well, it's at ruhealth.org. I put it in the chat, so scroll back, or we can slide it in there again, so you can get more information about finding Safe House and asking them about Directing Change workshops. Any questions or comments about Directing Change? Thank you, Maisha. Drop the website in there. We're all in awe. We have no words because it was just amazing, right? Fabulous. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. We are going to move on to the next set of May activities. So I'd like to introduce Mindy McFarland, another staff development officer with PEI, who's going to share that with you.
Thanks, Diana. So I was going to share about some of the activities that we had also in the month of May to recognize May is Mental Health Month. And for this year, we also returned to in-person mental health awareness fairs. So for the last few years, we've kind of been doing a virtual kind of format and different activities. So this was a big undertaking going back to have an event in each region of the county. So we actually held large mental health awareness fairs in the desert region, I believe for the first time at this kind of magnitude, and then also in Mid-County and also Western region at Fairmount Park. So I'll just kind of do a little snapshot of what we did. Let's see. So on Wednesday, May 3rd, we had the desert event. And so that was kind of kicking off our May festivities. And it was the first mental health resource fair at Palm Desert Civic Center Park. There were close to 80 vendors there representing both the Department of Behavioral Health as well as our local community organizations. The day opened with the Kauai Bird Singers and a land acknowledgement from Dr. Sean Milanovic, our cultural community liaison, and also included opening remarks from local dignitaries such as the La Quinta Mayor, Linda Evans, and the Palm Desert Mayor Pro Tem, Karina Quintanilla. Sorry about that. And representation also from Board of Supervisor Perez's office. And the Desert Maze Mental Health Month event brought in mental health activist and female professional boxer, Mia St. John. Our regional administrator, Kelly Grotsky, facilitated a mental health panel discussion with Mia St. John and also included local high school coaches, who brought to light the importance of caring for both our physical health and our mental health. And the afternoon event also had some salsa dancing lessons and a performance by an 80s tribute band, LDD 80s. And the month of May for the Desert also welcomed in their annual art show. And they showcased nearly, I believe it was 500 pieces of artwork submitted by consumers. And it was very well attended with lots of art pieces sold throughout that event as well the following week. And just a snapshot about who attended. We had the highest range of attendance from our adult community. And there was about 81% strongly agreed that the event was well organized. There was 77% who thought that strongly agreed the event was helpful to reduce stigma. 79% agreed or strongly agreed that the event was fun, engaging for everyone. And 87% strongly agreed that the event had a variety of helpful resources related to wellness. A lot of feedback on the community surveys included that they were nice. It was nice to know that there was so much help and free services available. A lot of folks enjoyed the opening ceremony and also just the communication of services and goods. Talking to all the vendors and learning about all the programs was very much liked by all those who were surveyed. And also the kindness amongst those hosting the event. So it was very welcoming to our community to have these services and supports available. And some things to improve, they would like to see some variety for next year. So we plan to have this again and also to promote this more widely so we have more community participation. And so this is also a list of the local cities from the desert that were surveyed. On Thursday, May 11th, we had the event in Mid-County. It was hosted in partnership with the city of Menifee at Central Park. And Menifee City Council formally recognized the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month and presented RUHS Behavioral Health with a proclamation. We also had close to 80 vendors in attendance representing both the Department of Behavioral Health as well as local community organizations. We had COLA's DJ Jesse Duran there to MC our event, and also a local, or not local, was local to our staff. We have a staff member who had a Jimi Hendrix tribute band that also provided entertainment. It was the Electric Co band. We also had the Bird Singers and also Land Acknowledgement to open the event. And also, if anyone is interested, I know that there was a news article from Valley News that featured the event in partnership with the city of Menifee, and a special highlight from that article included how a community member who attended the event ran into the team who helped to save his life. And so that consumer was Daniel Smith of Paris, who shared how the supports he received from RUHS Behavioral Health's Lake Elsinore SAPT team, as well as the mobile crisis management teams, were really impactful in his life. And so that was really a neat story that happened in Menifee. We also were able to count that there were 266 entry tickets counted for those who, I guess, came by to pick up their goodie bags from the community. We also had lots of feedback how the event was well organized to help reduce stigma, engaging activities, and also a lot of positive feedback about the amazing resources available. Some of the feedback was that they really enjoyed having this awareness to help families with mental health concerns, just realizing how much support is around. And of course, the individual who ran into the team who helped support him through his crisis, and that the vendors were all very engaging, kind, and helpful. That also for moving forward to help promote this event more widely, and then also having it in a time that can bring in more students, and so maybe not during school hours, so we'll see, but that was feedback we received from the community in the survey. And then also the local areas that participated in the survey. And on Thursday, May 18th was our final May is Mental Health Month event. It was held at Fairmount Park in Riverside. We counted that there were 322 entry tickets that were collected from the event. We weren't able to have any surveys from this event, but it also was able to open with our land acknowledgement and the Kauai Bird Singers. The event also included a wellness corner with author Dr. Nashira Coyote. And she presented on her journals and was available to sign and give away these free wellness journals to those in attendance. And the Wellness Corner also had a chair yoga session, which was well attended. It was also emceed by DJ Jesse Duran from Cola 99.9. And also in Western region, the city of Eastvale issued a proclamation to recognize May as Mental Health Month. And that's it. So that was a kind of just a quick preview or synopsis, rather, not preview, of things that happened for the month of May, and preview coming soon, I guess, for May's Mental Health Month 2024.
Awesome. Thank you, Mindy. It has been a very busy month. We're all tired. So we need the next year to rest up, to prepare for next May. So thank you for sharing that. All right. So now we're going to move into hearing from all of you. You've heard us talk enough. So I want to invite any PEI providers that are in the room with us today. If you have any announcements or updates that you'd like to share, please feel free to unmute and share, or share it in the chat if you prefer. I know there are PEI providers in the room, and you're all doing awesome things. So who has something to share? Everyone's being shy today. Well, as you ponder and perhaps consider any activities that you've done during the month of May, maybe with those that you serve, or how you highlighted May as Mental Health Month, I'll also extend the invitation to our other community partners that are with us today. If there are any announcements or anything you'd like to share, the floor is yours.
Hi, can folks hear me?
Yes, hi, Nicole.
Hi, everybody. I do have a short announcement. My name is Nicole de McGinden. I am a CMHP promoter with Asian Pacific Counseling Treatment Centers, and every fall we put together the Kapwa Youth Internship. It's a collaboration with other API folks this year, so we're really transforming. If it's possible, I could put up the flyer to show a little bit on what the program is a bit more about. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah, do it.
Cool. Let's see. So I have it open. Whoop. But yeah, kapwa is a Tagalog word, and it means kind of hard to translate, but it's like unity and empathy and seeing the self and other, and the other seeing the self. And in essence, it covers mental health. Folks go through like a short workshop series. And last year we actually did, okay, I found it. We were able to have the youth do a historic tour in downtown Riverside at the Harada mural, the Dosa and Chang statue, and the Cesar Chavez mural, because there is a Filipino flag on there to honor Larry Itliong. So we talk about the intersections of our communities. And when they complete the program, they do get a small scholarship. They present their realizations in very creative ways. Sometimes it comes out as songs or sculptures or poetry, or just, like a poster board on what they learned about the program and what they learned about themselves. So as we're transitioning to be all AA and HPI inclusive, we're really looking for folks who are hoping to either be an intern or who would like to volunteer and help with the behind the scenes stuff, who would like to be on core team to really help with making decisions and guiding the vision of the program. Or if they do work with an Asian Pacific Islander community, would they like to be a host and sort of have these interns experience what it's like to work with them, to talk about protective factors and to learn what protective factors our community is putting out there. I think Abigail is here too. She's also been helping out through the API MHRC. If there's anything else you want to add, Abby, feel free to put it in the chat. And yeah, if anyone else has questions, feel free to ask.
Terrific. Thank you, Nicole. And I see Abby added in that the Mental Health Resource Center is also going to be hosting an event for Pride Month on the 23rd of June at 2 p.m. So she'll send out a flyer. Send that to us, Abby, and Miriam can get that out to the group as well. Were there any questions or comments for Nicole? Or other updates? Who's got an announcement to share? Dakota.
Yeah, thank you. Since Nicole shared, I think I'll do that too because I'm having trouble saving it in the chat. So I'm working with the people with disabilities in engaging them into mental health services. We have a subcommittee meeting the day after tomorrow. It's the WADE Alliance. WADE stands for Wellness and Disability Equity. And I will share, here, this should be it. Yeah, okay, it's there. So our meeting is on Zoom this month, and we'll take a vote on if we want to meet in person next month. But it's just a way to elevate the voice of people with disabilities, making sure they're getting the mental health services they're entitled to, and getting feedback and letting the county know what the county can do to make their services more accessible, transparent, and also welcoming. So I'll stop the share, but I'll put my email into the chat. And if anybody would like to attend, please do. All are welcome.
Terrific. Thank you, Dakota. Other announcements? Upcoming events and activities. Nicole added the internship interest sign up link into the chat. So check that out if you're interested. I can share that the MHSA, that if you were here in March, I gave the update for our annual MHSA plan. We will also be hosting community forums and public hearings, one in each region of our county. So if you'd like to come and have another opportunity to give feedback on June 20th, we'll be in Hemet. There's going to be a community forum from 3 to 5 p.m. This is a space to learn a little bit more about the MHSA plan and be able to speak to the team members that oversee those plans, where you can ask questions and get some answers. And following that at 5:30 is the public hearing. The public hearing is a space for you to give a comment and feedback. We're not really, it's more one-sided, not as conversational. You won't be able to get answers to your questions, but give comment and feedback about the plan. And so if you have some questions, come early, stay to give that official public feedback. And then on June 27th, we'll be in Moreno Valley, same times for the forum and hearing. And then on June 29th, we'll be in Palm Springs. So we can send out more of the details on locations and information for when we send out the feedback for this meeting, along with the other flyers. So mark your calendars if you want to come to those. Jennifer.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to jump on. I don't have an announcement, but I did want to share our programs. I'm the clinical supervisor at Inland Caregiver Resource Center for our Pearls and CBT for later life.
Oh, you muted, Jen.
Oops, I muted myself. And I just wanted to let you know that we do work with throughout the entire county of Riverside, so Mid-County, Western, and the Desert. Our services are directed for mature adults over the age of 60, and we are able to work in their home, virtually, on Zoom or by phone. Right now, we don't have a wait list for both programs. So I have in the chat, I have put the link to our referral form. If anyone has a senior they would like us to speak with, either regarding Pearls, which is a problem-solving model, or Thrive, our CBT for later life depression model, which is more of a talk therapy program, feel free to do a referral form and send it. I'll put my email directly in the chat. You can send it over to me, and I'm more than welcome to just call them and discuss both programs to see if there's one fit over the other or a preference. But right now we don't have a wait list, so feel free to send on any senior that you would like us to reach out to and support.
Terrific. Thank you, Jennifer. Grace.
Hi, my name is Grace. I'm from APCTC, Asian Pacific Counseling and Treatment Center. We actually have a youth leadership summer camp that we've been doing for now 2 years. So this will be our 3rd year, and we're trying a different model of trying to do pop-ups. So previously we would host it at one location for multiple days. And I think it was hard for people from mid-county to join us, or if we're doing it somewhere further away from their residence, it was difficult for these children and students to attend. And so this year we're going a little bit different. We're trying out something new with the pop-up. So wherever the kids are at, we will go for one day, right? And would I be able to share my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we have 2 flyers right now, so there's no dates, right? Because it's based on the sign up and how much interest we're able to gather. And so we have one, the Ready to Go, which is for the younger kiddos, and then we have Impact, which is for the older kiddos. And the point is to really just instill a sense of the importance of mental wellness, break down the stigma, and also for them to develop leadership skills so they can initiate those conversations about mental health with their families, their peers, and just within their communities. So if you have any AAPI communities around you or individuals that perhaps might be interested in hosting a summer camp with us for their youth, please contact us.
That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Other announcements? Abigail says, come to Menifee. All right, I think we're all ready for a summer break. I think that's what this is. So perhaps we all will get an additional few minutes to our day. I want to thank you guys all for being here today. We reconvene in when do we reconvene? August. So have a great couple of months. A happy 4th of July. If you're interested in training to fill your summer, check out our PEI website and sign up for any free trainings. Share that with others. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you again for this meeting in August. Take care, everybody. Okay, we can stop record. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting for everybody. Doesn't look like any more questions.